All week long, the Kremlin showed off canned food filmed in the Kremlin interiors to the deep-sea fishermen. Here is some bald guy who looks like Putin meeting with one governor, then another, then Fradkov's son. The rat covered his tracks by covering himself in fog to announce his upcoming visit to Mongolia on September 3. Mongolia is a country that has ratified the Rome Statute, and in theory it should arrest the presumptuous rat. If, of course, he dares to show up there. Or not. After all, it is clear that the advertised trip is a special operation to nullify the warrant of the International Criminal Court. According to the schemers, the Mongols will not dare, which means they can travel around the world, spitting on the warrant and laughing in the direction of The Hague. But in Kaluga, the furry ones were in no mood for laughter on Friday morning. The region was attacked by Ukrainian drones. And, judging by the footage shot by eyewitnesses, the Russians have no air defense there. If drones were shot down, then with small arms, because all serious air defense assets are concentrated in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and at the Putlo residences. And let the regions fight back as best they can. Even this ordinary example debunks the myth of the impenetrability of cave air defense. The boys are hanging on by a thread, and stability is already peeling off. Putin demands to stop inflation. Nabiullina growls, "Inflation, stop 1, 2, but nothing happens." The dictator proclaims war as the most important condition for Russia's development. What else can he do? In the Pokrovsky direction, the Russians, God knows what kind of drugs, are rushing to certain death, but they are advancing. Zelensky is already being criticized for throwing the most combat-ready units to Kursk, while the Pokrovsky direction is being penetrated with meaty assaults. It looks like Pokrovsk will soon cease to exist, like Bakhmut or Avdiivka. NATO ministers are announcing increased aid to Ukraine, but the main strategic question hangs in the air. When will the West allow the Ukrainian armed forces to strike the enemy deep in its territory? And what else needs to happen to finally trigger those making such a decision? A Russian strike on its own Kursk NPP, which is a copy of Chernobyl. Or an accident at the occupied Zaporizhzhia NPP. While Ukrainian Foreign Minister Kuleba was convincing allies in Brussels, a secret meeting was held in Dresden from August 27 to 29, which, in addition to Ukraine, was attended by senior military leaders from 35 countries. The details of a modern war have been studied, weapons have been presented, the strategy has been worked out, the Western military-industrial complex has been launched. It is time to end the war without bringing it to the level of a continental one. The question is at what cost? The arrest of Durov and the pressure that began on Telegram seriously undermined the schemers. Firstly, the myth of the unbending knight of IT technologies was dispelled, who in reality turned out to be a donkey pulling a cart full of pus and garbage. Here you have weapons supplies, child pornography, grey crypto, drug trafficking, and intelligence technologies all in one cart. Secondly, it turned out that Durov is a special schemer, tightly tied to the Russian special services. And even in Dubai, in the office where the company allegedly moved in 2017, no one worked at all. They rented 280 square meters of emptiness there. And in general, while the same Zuckerberg employs up to 40,000 employees in the field of meta-security alone, Telegram gets by with 50 egg-headed geniuses. Now each of them, including brother Nikolai, has been cursed by Durov, and they need to run away to the cave immediately. Unless, of course, they initially prospered in the Russian Federation, under the general's roof. It is not for nothing that Peskov is breathing so unevenly and the head of the SVR Naryshkin is so excited. Having been released on bail of €5 million, Durov remains a hostage of Themis, which will remember everything. The price of Telegram bonds has already fallen by almost 10 percentage points. Experts predict a further decline in Durov's little plane, which really turned out to be paper, skillfully folded by the hands of the Russian KGB. This was the magical miracle that it is time to expose. The system has received a sensitive blow in several directions at once. Along the line of the Ministry of Defense, which is directing the war via Telegram, and along the African direction, where Telegram is used to send information to PMCs and oversee weapons supplies, and for agents embedded in the West, whose correspondence with their curators is about to be exposed, and for Kremlin officials. Perhaps only Medvedev will not suffer any reputational losses. Everyone already knows that he is a stoned alcoholic. One way or another, Putin's regime is being smoothly rolled up manually. Even Serbia had a hand in this, refusing to buy Russian fighters, preferring French machines. This deal will mark the beginning of strategic changes in Serbia, Macron said at a joint press conference with Vučić. And this is not the last blow in the back of the enraged Putin. August was burning with oil depots and refineries, and the cave business collapsed fourfold, its annual profits falling to 860 billion rubles. And this has not yet begun the strikes with Ukrainian ballistic missiles, which Kyiv already possesses. The Palyonitsa has not yet soared into the sky, the American veterans have not yet arrived in their next F-16s. And the Crimean Bridge still stands, wrapped in clouds of smoke, as a symbol of the smoking, but not collapsed Putinism. Not collapsed yet.